I call to order the annual meeting of the Northern California Golf Association. Good afternoon, my name is Mike Weeks and it's been my pleasure to serve as the president of the Northern California Golf Association during 2020. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome everyone to our virtual meeting and a special welcome to our club representatives. You represent us throughout Northern California and your contribution to your club and to golf are much appreciated. And now I need to read some legal information. Due to the pandemic, the NCGA's Board of Directors passed a resolution in September, taking all applicable rules into consideration to allow for this annual meeting to be held virtually. We notified our regular clubs via email and by U.S. Postal Service in late October, and the presidents of those clubs were invited to the virtual meeting or encouraged to submit a proxy in their absence. Holding our annual meeting is mandatory for the purposes of hearing the President's report, the Treasurer's report, committee reports, and electing next year's Board of Directors. Since we were not able to gather in person, delegates voted in absence by proxy by giving voting instructions to a proxy holder who is representing delegates at today's meeting. At its last regular board meeting of 2020 this morning, which preceded this annual meeting, the minutes were approved and 2021 tickets were ratified. The results of these votes will be included in the minutes of this meeting and retained in the same manner as previous years. We have collected roll call for this annual meeting by way of registration and by proxies, and we are pleased to announce that a quorum of delegates is present.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Houston and I am the CEO of the NCGA. Golf is a special game that brings people together, and this couldn't be more true than what we have seen this year. We expected 2020 to be a banner year for change. We started the year excited to unify with the Pacific Women's Golf Association and the Women's Golf Association of Northern California. Together, we are better to serve all golfers in our community. And I am also thankful that this unification brought us some outstanding new board members and their excellent staff to join our team. 2020 also brought us together with golfers globally under the new World Handicap System. Jim Cowan on our team was handpicked by the USGA to help create this new system and deploy it also throughout our region. That seemed like a lot of change for 1 year, but no one could have anticipated what was coming with a global pandemic. While we temporarily stopped playing golf, this change actually brought our team and our industry closer together than ever before. On a national level, the major governing bodies such as the USGA, the PGA Tour, the PGA of America, and many other groups joined forces under an organization called We Are Golf. They help define new safety protocols and operating standards to get us back to playing the game that we love in a safe way. On a more local level, the California Alliance for Golf helped lobby and also implement these new standards across our state. This group included our counterparts from the Southern California Golf Association, the Northern and Southern California PGA sections, the Golf Course Owners Association, the Golf Course Superintendents Association, and many other California golf-based entities. Our industry has worked better than ever. I have also seen our own organization, our board, our volunteers, and our staff come together to support this game, but also to support each other. And while we suspended operations for several weeks, we came out of this stronger. We prioritized safety for our members, for our volunteers, and our staff during this time. Ryan Gregg, our Chief Operating Officer, along with his team and the Operations Committee, helped define new protocols for our tournaments and our events to get us back to playing in a safe way. Steve Schrader, our Chief Operating Officer at Poppy Holding, along with the support of Kerry Gordon, the Chair of the Board, helped to implement several new safety protocols at both of our golf courses to keep our golfers safe and at the same time continue to invest in golf course conditioning. If you haven't played Poppy Ridge or Poppy Hills recently, you really should. Adam Hike, our CEO of Youth on Course, which is the charitable arm of the NCGA. Adam and his team have done a phenomenal job to support kids at a time when they needed access to golf and golf courses more than ever. Kids are now playing more golf, and the results have exceeded our wildest expectations. And while we made safety our top priority, we still exceeded many of our strategic objectives. Our membership is up, and after reopening, golf rounds are up. Registration for our tournaments is at an all-time high. Kids are playing more golf. And our staff and our volunteer community is more engaged and supportive than ever. And our financial position remains very strong. Despite the challenges from COVID, the future for our organization and for the game is bright. Our board has developed a new strategic plan that you will hear more about later and in the months to come, that this will set the stage for future growth and for continual improvement of our programs and services. Everyone in the golf community has played an important role throughout this year. I really want to thank all of our NCGA volunteers, our tournament officials and course raters, the club officers and club ambassadors, our staff members, and our board of directors. The support from our president, Mike Weeks, and the entire board has been exceptional during these difficult times. Mike provided outstanding leadership throughout the year, but has also been a very valuable sounding board for advice. Thank you, Mike. And while we are very proud of what we've accomplished, we know we have a lot of work ahead of us to achieve our vision to make this game even more vibrant, more inclusive, and more accessible. So as 2020 comes to a close, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this organization. The challenges that we have faced this year have actually made us better. I'm excited about the future for the game of golf and the future for the NCGA. Our best is yet to come. Thank you, and have a safe and happy holiday season.
Hello, I'm Kerry Gordon. I'm the chairman of Poppy Holding. I'm happy to make this presentation at our annual meeting for you today. We started the 2020 year with a great deal of optimism and objectives that we'd accomplish during the year. Well, COVID hit. Our golf courses were closed for nearly 2 months, and with 175 employees, our number one concern was their safety as well as that of our guests. While we have prepared for unforeseen events such as fires, weather, economy changes, the like, we hadn't thought of a pandemic. However, the organization was well prepared. We had set up a contingency fund years before to plan for an emergency in the event it did happen. Well, sure enough, that came to be. So the first immediate action was looking at what the financial impact and how to operate the golf courses and the facilities with the COVID situation. We're fortunate to have a very strong team. Joe Houston, our CEO, Steve Schrader, our Chief Operating Officer, Brett Armstrong, our General Manager, and of course, Anna Fitzgerald, our very capable CFO, all went to work immediately with that of the board and the like. We made assessments, and initially the losses for the year looked to be in excess of $3 million. Working hard to make changes and adjustments, we got through a large part of the year, and with a couple months left to go, it looks like our losses are going to be somewhere around the $500,000 range, so it's quite an achievement. While food and beverage, merchandise sales, weddings were virtually non-existent, the golf courses, since the reopening, have been packed. And of course, that's driven revenue up, and the need for discounting rounds has all but vanished. And incremental price increases have also come into play. Hopefully, we'll be back to normal within the first or second quarter of this new year with the advent of the new vaccines. During the year, the board and the staff continued to work on our project of crystallizing and clarifying what the vision and mission of Poppy Holding was to be. We looked at what we do, and to give you a quick summary, what we do is Poppy Holding for Poppy Hills and Poppy Ridge is we operate championship-style golf courses at a high standard that appeal to a wide range of golfers. We host and conduct tournaments and events for the NCGA, member clubs, and Poppy clubs as well. Food and beverage for golfers and for selected special events, such as weddings and the like. Assist the NCGA in growing NCGA members, and of course serve as a benefit to our members first, but also to support the NCGA volunteers, staff, and board. We also looked at the standards to operate the two courses. Those standards include items such as course design and conditioning, hospitality and service and safety standards, user-friendliness standards, and then implementing the NCGA standards for that the courses are set up in a manner that meet the NCGA standards for both competitions and everyday play, supporting the pace of play issues, reinforce the NCGA branding and equity, and promotion of the NCGA membership benefit and programming. We further promote and educate members on golf. And lastly, to be the inspirational industry leader in golf. We then clarified what our vision and mission was after lots of wordsmithing, lots of discussion, debate, dialogue. Our vision as now stated is to be the inspirational leader of golf in Northern California, where everyone has an invitation to play. Our mission is to enhance the enjoyment of golf for the NCGA member, their guests, and inspire them to play more by providing them high-quality experiences that reflect NCGA standards through individual play, group events, and tournaments. As a result, we now have a litmus test for making decisions as to operating the facilities. We've developed the following strategic priorities. First, to maintain our properties at these high standards that exceed expectations for the price that an NCGA member pays. Second, continual improvement to our golf courses and facilities. Third, improve service and hospitality standards for the NCGA member, both virtual, such as online booking, ordering, etc., and in-person standards for fast, friendly, and consistent service. Fourth, to build and brand our member loyalty program to ensure that members feel a sense of belonging and connection to the NCGA. This includes utilizing the NCGA marketing to derive rounds, revenue, and membership. And finally, recruit, retain, and develop high-quality staff to execute on this vision and mission. While 2020 was not what we had expected, we have successfully managed our way through what we believe are the most difficult times. I can't express my gratitude enough for the leadership, staff, board, for their outstanding achievement. This is my last year on Poppy Holding as I complete my 5-year term. I don't want to go, but it's actually the right thing to do. It keeps the organization strong by continuing with term limits to continue to bring in new people, new ideas, and move us old wood out of the way. I can't express my personal gratitude enough for the opportunity I've been provided to serve the organization and the opportunity I've had to work with such wonderful, outstanding people. It's been a true honor, and I thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, and goodbye.
Hi, my name is Adam Hike, CEO of Youth on Course, the NCGA's charitable arm. On behalf of our board and staff, thank you for your ongoing support. Here at Youth on Course, we run 4 main programs: subsidizing rounds of golf for kids, paid high school internships, caddy programs, and college scholarships. Though 2 of those programs, caddies and interns, were unable to take place this year due to the pandemic, we were still able to achieve, in some ways, more than we ever have. Golf being one of the few activities that were allowed this summer for kids, we saw record growth for Youth on Course. More than 100,000 subsidized rounds were paid in Northern California this summer. That's a 25% increase over the previous year. 5,000 new kids joined Youth on Course, bringing that total to 23,000 participants among the NCGA's footprint. I think it speaks to the nature of the NCGA's relationship with its clubs. You opened your doors to allow access for kids during a time that was the most challenging for families on record. All told, we will spend millions of dollars this year ensuring kids have access to the game. We hope next year looks a little bit different, but who knows, it may not. Our fundraising prospects this year were certainly dampened by the pandemic, but we were encouraged to see so many of you, members, member clubs, corporations, foundations, and others, support Youth on Course in its biggest time of need. We look forward to continue expanding Youth on Course outside of the NCGA's borders as the organization continues to stand as one of the most progressive bodies in golf. On behalf of more than 23,000 kids here in Northern California, thank you for your ongoing support. We'll hope we can see you on the course next year.
Good afternoon. I'm Rich Wise. I'm the chairman of the Finance Committee for NCGA and giving the finance report. The NCGA engaged the services of our auditors, BPM, to do the annual audit for our three entities, which is NCGA, Poppy Holding, and our foundation, which is Youth on Course. The representatives of BPM completed the audit for 2019 fiscal year, and the results of the association's operations were in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, otherwise known as GAAP. The auditors reviewed by the members of the audit committee and the finance committee. And while 2020 has been a challenging year on many fronts, I'm pleased to report the association continues to deliver on our goals and remains in a strong financial position. Thank you.
Thank you to Joe Houston, Mike Weeks, and the board, as I appreciate the opportunity to provide you with some updates from the USGA. Like you, COVID-19 has forced the USGA to rethink and pivot on almost everything we were planning for in 2020. Our staff of 300 has been working remotely since March and will continue to do so into 2021. We canceled 10 championships, postponed the US Open and US Women's Open, and canceled qualifying rounds, which are a cornerstone of USGA championships. During this challenging year, we worked collaboratively with organizations across the industry to lead the responsible return and continued operation of golf during the pandemic. In March, we created a COVID-19 resource page to provide useful information for everyone within the golf community on how to play and manage the game safely. We showcased how flexible the new rules of golf and rules of handicapping are when modified to play under the current conditions. Despite this challenging year, I do have some positive updates to share. First, congratulations to NCGA past president, Lon Hasto, who in February was honored at the USGA annual meeting in Pinehurst with the Joe Dye Award. Named for the USGA's executive director from 1934 to 1968 and a World Golf Hall of Famer, the Joe Dye Award has been presented annually since 1996 to recognize an individual's meritorious service to the game as a volunteer. For more than 30 years, Lon has served as a volunteer rules official at state, regional, national, and international levels, including more than 100 USGA championships. Congrats again, Lon. We are proud to have conducted 3 national championships so far and will conduct a 4th in December with the Women's Open. We are planning to host the full slate of 14 national championships next year, highlighted by a return to Torrey Pines for the US Open and a return to Northern California for the Women's Open in early June. The 2021 US Women's Open will be the 11th USGA championship contested at the Olympic Club, and it will mark the first USGA Women's Championship held there. We can't forecast what the health protocols will be in San Francisco then, but we are hopeful to have fans on site again. And whether it's on site or online, we look forward to working with the NCGA to provide an outstanding member experience around next year's US Women's Open. Another positive is interest in the game is soaring. Whether it's social golf or tournament golf, people want to spend time outdoors, and golf is providing that recreational outlet. We recently had a record number of entries for next year's Women's Floorball Championship and close to record numbers for next year's Men's Floorball Championship. I know the NCGA and other golf associations across the country have seen similar record entry numbers for their championships and events. This highlights the exceptional playing opportunities the NCGA provides to its members. To the golf facility operators listening today, I would love to hear your stories about new golfers coming to your course for the first time and lapsed golfers returning. Cultivating outstanding golf experiences is one of our strategic pillars that you will see us focus on next year. We know how challenging it is to operate a golf course as you face significant resource pressures, especially the availability and cost of labor and water. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the USGA Green Section, and we look forward to working with the NCGA to help raise awareness around their services and solutions for golf courses to improve their golfer experience and reduce the consumption of critical resources. This year has reinforced the strength of our NCGA-USGA relationship as we work together in an ongoing virtual environment. Joe Houston and his staff have shown the flexibility and agility to carry out our local activities remotely, advocate for the game locally and across the state, and help enforce and spread awareness of the modifications to the rules of golf and rules of handicapping. We thank the NCGA staff, board, and volunteers for their support and look forward to working with the NCGA to lead, influence, and partner with you all towards a more welcoming game.
Good morning. I'm Gail Rogers, the immediate past president of the Northern California Golf Association and chairman of this year's nominating committee. Our first responsibility was to select a director to go through the chairs. After limited consideration, we realized that Dave Pearson was the perfect person for this job. Dave will represent us all as he starts in 2021 as our secretary-treasurer. His appointment was released to all of the members in the spring. After that, our focus became finding directors to go onto the NCGA board for the term of 21-22. With the economy and COVID, we weren't sure how many people would be interested in applying. So we did customized letters to our club presidents, our club ambassadors, to immediate past presidents and directors, to course raters and tournament officials. And of course, a letter went out to the membership as a whole. I'm happy to tell you that 12 NCGA members sent in their resumes for consideration for the board for 2021-22. We looked at the resumes and after thorough examination brought in 6 people to do interviews. We did Google Meet, which was a new experience for us and for many of them, but it gave us 3 wonderful candidates for this position. They are Dana Kerrigan, Carl Rodefer, and Bill Self. While it's exciting to welcome new members to the board, it's a little sad to say goodbye to people who have been with us for a number of years. Retiring this year will be Rich Weiss, Dr. Al Brown, and myself. Rich and Al have served 6 and 4 years, respectively. We appreciate all that they have done for us. And as for me, I want to thank all of you for your support during the time that I've been on the board and as your president. It's been a wonderful experience. I know we're turning over the leadership into great hands and things will continue in a very smooth transition. Again, thank you, and this concludes the report from the nominating committee.
Hi, I'm Bill Carl, Berkeley Country Club.
Dana Kerrigan, Whitney Oaks, and Turkey Creek.
Raymond Coates from California Golf Club.
Terry Fitzwater, Old Greenwood Golf Club.
Gary Fox, Spring Creek Country Club.
Scott Gebhardt, Quail Lodge, Carmel, California.
Bob Goldstein, Sequoia Country Club.
Lynn Harvey, the Tony Lima Women's Golf Club at Monarch Bay in San Leandro, and the Calippi Women's Golf Club at Calippi Preserve in Pleasanton.
Bob Miller, Sequoia Woods Country Club.
Lance Parker, San Luis Obispo Country Club.
David Pearson, Visalia Country Club.
Kevin Payton, San Jose Country Club.
Hello everybody, my name is Preston Pinckney, part of the Golden Gate Park Chasers at Lake Chabot Golf Course in Oakland, California.
Hi, I'm Ed Quinn from Northridge Country Club in Fair Oaks.
Hi, I'm Carl Rodefer. I live in Columbia, California, and I am a member of the Greenhorn Creek Resort Men's Club.
Hi, I'm Bill Self from Monterey Peninsula Country Club in Pebble Beach.
Hello, my name's Kathy Stroh. My home course is El Macero Country Club.
Michael Weeks, Morro Bay Golf Club.
Good afternoon, I'm David Pearson. As chairman of the NCGA Course Rating and Handicap Committee, I get the privilege to announce the 2020 Course Rater of the Year. Our recipient is from Newman. He became a course rater in 2005. He is currently a rating captain for Area 3. Kern is very serious about the rating, but Kern also likes to have a lot of fun, and he is very comfortable with nature. So it's not uncommon during a rating that he might find something like a snake and quickly capture it, and then he will willingly share it with his rating partner so that they can see it very closely before he releases it to the wild. Area 3 is a geographically very large area. At its southern boundary, it's the full width of the state. Kern has always been more than willing to drive the 4 or 5 or sometimes even 6 hours that it takes to get to a course rating within that rating area. During the pandemic, he was willing to go anywhere in Northern California that was shorthanded and needed assistance with a rating. Kern is very passionate about golf and about rating and about serving the NCGA and its members. It is my distinct pleasure to announce that the 2020 NCGA Course Rater of the Year is Kern Hunwell.
Good morning, I'm Kern Honeywell. I'm very honored to have been chosen Rater of the Year for the NCGA, and I was shocked to receive it. I have enjoyed golf my whole life, and I got into rating because I just enjoyed the game so much. And one day I was golfing with Ken Hawes at Stevenson Ranch, the late Stevenson Ranch, and I was always asking him questions about rules and things like that, and he said, you need to become a rules official. So the next thing I knew, I was being interviewed by Ron Leedy, a course rater, and I was surprised that I was being selected maybe to be a course rater and not a rules official, but thought I'd go with the flow, and I'm very pleased that that became the case. I'm lucky to be able to work with all the course raters, and Jim Cowan and Jeremy Gray. I am always trying to learn. I was surprised at how difficult it was to do the course rating. Everybody thinks it's quite simple, but there's so much more to it. Our forms have changed so much over the years. It seems like every year Jim makes just amazing changes to our forms and makes it so much easier, but it's still difficult, and Jim would tell you it's more difficult for me because I'm me. But I enjoy going to ratings in different areas and seeing the different courses. And I'm not a public speaker, and that's enough.
On behalf of the Operations Committee and over 200 volunteer tournament officials, it's my honor and privilege to introduce Phil Sexton as our 2020 Tournament Official of the Year. Phil is a member at Rancho Murrieta Country Club. He started as a tournament official in 2009. He works 40 to 50 days as a tournament official and is often rules chairman or tournament chairman for those events. He's played a major role in procuring and marking not only Rancho Murrieta, but several other golf courses in the foothills, Stockton, and Sacramento areas. He's worked as hard as anyone to become a rules certified tournament official. Congratulations, Phil, and thank you for all you do to support the NCGA.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the NCGA Board of Directors, Rules and Competition staff, and the NCGA Operations Committee for presenting me with this prestigious award that is an honor that I will always cherish. I've enjoyed my 12 years as a tournament official and the many friendships with other officials, players, and the various staffs at the host clubs where we conduct our tournaments. I have been fortunate to observe the growth of the Junior Tour of Northern California, and I've had the opportunity to watch these young players compete, who are the future of the game of golf. I've enjoyed the rules challenges of working various USGA and NCGA tournaments where very talented players compete at the highest competitive level, and working the NCGA net qualifiers where we try to bring an enjoyable tournament experience for the players who have only competed at their local club but not in an NCGA tournament. I would also like to thank John Nakamura, John Corvin, Dan Wittstein, and Gary Fox for tolerating my endless questions regarding the rules of golf and teaching me how to be a more effective tournament official. And finally, a very special thank you to Ryan Gregg, Ryan Farb, and the entire Rules and Competition staff for all their support. Their hard work and dedication is the foundation for one of the most successful tournament programs in the country. Thank you again for this honor.
Hello, I'm Ryan Gregg, Chief Operating Officer for the Northern California Golf Association. On behalf of the Operations Committee and Chairman Gary Fox, it is my pleasure to introduce our 2020 Players of the Year. The NCGA's points program is the most extensive point program in the country and tracks hundreds of tournaments to accomplish our goal of recognizing the top amateurs in our region. I want to specifically thank Lindsay Phipps for her hard work in keeping the points list up to date. This year was full of challenges as we've navigated through a worldwide pandemic and many of the wildfires that affected our championships. Yet we're still able to complete a significant number of our events safely and now able to recognize our very deserving 2020 Players of the Year. NCGA's Player of the Year, Alex Chin. Alex is a senior at the University of San Francisco, and he won his first NCGA Player of the Year title with a total of 1,326 points. Achievements included reaching the quarterfinals of the California Amateur and finishing second at the NCGA Amateur Stroke Play Championship. Congratulations, Alex, on winning Player of the Year honors.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Chin, and I'd like to thank the NCGA for awarding me NCGA Player of the Year. First of all, I'd like to thank the NCGA themselves and their officials for hosting a great tournament schedule. In light of a pandemic, I was slightly afraid that I wouldn't be able to play tournaments for a very long time, but the NCGA put out a great set of events and I was extremely happy to play all of them. Secondly, I would like to thank Hasto Country Club for supporting me along the way and giving me 2 great courses to consistently improve my game with. Third of all, I'd like to thank my college coach Jack Kennedy and NCGA official and high school coach Bill Hayes. Both of them have made me not only a greater golfer, but a greater person as well. Also, I would like to thank Justin Lee and Jim Ham. Both of them are my golf coaches. They have worked really hard on having me get my game a lot better, and they have turned some of my greatest weaknesses into strengths. Finally, I'd like to thank my family, especially my parents and my grandparents. They have been there for me every step of the way, and whether it's good times or bad, they are always there for me, and I'm super grateful for that. Again, thank you, and congratulations to all the 2020 Player of the Year recipients.
NCGA Women's Player of the Year, Faith Lowe. A member of the Junior Tour of Northern California, won the NCGA Women's Player of the Year crown with a total of 783 points. Among her achievements were a victory at the NCGA's Women's Amateur and reaching the round of 32 at the California Women's Amateur Championship. Congratulations, Faith, on your first NCGA Women's Player of the Year title.
Hi, my name is Faith Lowe, and I'm honored and humbled to be named the 2020 NCGA Women's Player of the Year and be recognized alongside great golfers such as Annika Borelli and Sabrina Iqbal. Being able to grow and continue to improve alongside amazing and talented golfers has been and always will be a wonderful experience. The amount of encouragement, advice, help, and support the people around me have given is immense. I'd like to thank NCGA for this recognition. I have been competing in JT&C events before the age of 10, and without both, I would not know where I would be today. My parents have played such a massive role in my success so far, and I could not thank them enough. The long road trips, plane rides, baskets and baskets of balls, and hours practicing a week could not have been more appreciated. I have been working with my coach, Alex Murray, for over 6 years. All the expertise and skill he has shared with me allows me to improve steadily and consistently. The Youth and Course Association has supported my journey from day one. This year has been very challenging, and YLC has been subsiding far more rounds than the previous year. I urge all of you to support and donate so that more young players can take advantage of this incredible program. I have certainly benefited from the many rounds YLC has taken care of and would love to see their organization prosper. Thank you.
NCGA's Senior Player of the Year, Mark Morgan. Mark, who plays out of the Serrano Country Club, earned his first NCGA Senior Player of the Year award with a total of 1,160 points. His season included runner-up finishes at the NCGA Senior Valley Amateur and a third-place finish at NCGA Senior Championship. Overall, he'd recorded 7 top 10 finishes. Congratulations, Mark, on your first NCGA Player of the Year title. NCGA Senior Women's Player of the Year, Itsuko Moridara, who plays out of Green Valley Country Club, won her first NCGA Senior Women's Player of the Year title with 518 points. Her season included a runner-up finish at the NCGA Senior Women's Amateur Championship and a tie for third place at the CWC Senior. Congratulations, Itsuko, on your first NCGA Senior Women's Player of the Year crown.
Hi everyone, I'm Itsuko Moridaira, a member of Green Valley Country Club. First of all, I would like to thank to Northern California Golf Association for this award. Also, thank you to WGNC and the various people who managed to hold most of the scheduled tournaments during this COVID year. I think it was really hard to challenge to put them on. Thank you. Also, I would like to convey my appreciation to my friends, Green Valley Country Club members, and head pro Mark Sherman for always encouraging and supporting me as I work to improve my golf. Their encouragement helped me keep me going even when my golf was not so good. I remember a thrill of winning my first Green Valley Country Club Women's Club Championship and my name being on the same trophy as my mother's. I feel the same thrill to receiving this award. After long hours on range, practicing and playing a lot of rounds, I'm very happy to see such a result of my effort. Now, this honor will motivate me to keep improving my golf so I can compete at the next level. Again, thank you very much.
NCGA's Super Senior Player of the Year, Jeff Burda. Jeff is a member at Creekside Golf Club, and Jeff won his first NCGA Super Senior Player of the Year title with a total of 1,628 points. Highlights of his season included wins at the NCGA Super Senior Amateur and the Sacramento County Super Senior. He'd win all 8 Super Senior events he played in, and with his win at the NCGA Super Senior, he earned the distinction of winning an NCGA title in 6 different decades. Congratulations, Jeff, on your first NCGA Super Senior Player of the Year title.
Good afternoon. When I spoke to the annual meeting last year, I talked about the need to embrace change. At the time, I was referring to the 2019 changes to the rules of golf and the upcoming 2020 World Handicap System. At the time, little did I know how much change we would all have to deal with in 2020. Changes to our daily lives, changes to our society, and changes to our government. As every good deadhead knows, what a long, strange trip it's been. One of the other things that I talked about last year was the need to play it forward. Play for more forward tees, have more fun. In 2020, the USGA delivered its Distance Insights report. And in that report, it's no surprise, it talked about the fact that course conditions, player conditioning, and equipment had resulted in many of our storied courses being rendered obsolete by the most elite players. But also buried in that report was some other interesting facts. As a new course rater this year, I learned about Bogey Man and Bogey Woman. Bogey Man hits at about 200 off the tee and 170 with a 3-wood. Bogey Woman, 150 and 130. What was interesting in the report is only 60% of the courses have tees appropriate for Bogey Man, and 6% of the courses have tees appropriate for Bogey Woman. So if you're a course architect or in charge of a renovation or a greens committee considering a renovation, don't build more tees back for the elite player. The USGA and RNA will figure out how to deal with them. Build more tees forward for the average player so that we can actually hit greens in regulation now and then. And we can actually put in 82 instead of 102 on our scorecards. Something else happened this year that I'd like to share with you. I was working as a rules rover in one of our tournaments. There was a player who was very close to the lead. Needed pars and birdies going in to either win it outright or get into a playoff. Bogeyed 16, bogeyed 17, standing on the tee on 18, extremely angry and frustrated. And of course, because of his tension, he pushed it off into the trees on the right, slammed his club down, and we went forward to look for the ball. I parked my cart where I thought the ball had entered the trees, and we searched for a minute, minute and a half, and we found the ball. And of course, he was in jail. Now, I think he doesn't have a very good chance of getting the shot out. There was a little window there. He could advance at 20 or 30 yards, but I didn't think the risk reward was worth it. So I moved my golf cart back about 15 or 20 yards. He pulled a club, made a stroke, and of course it hit a tree. And the ball went zooming by my head. Clearly an unintended consequence. But then he turned and very purposefully threw his club right at my golf cart. It bounced off, dented the shaft, and after we had a conversation about anger management on the golf course and throwing clubs, I drove away. And as I drove away, I thought, that could have turned out very differently. The ball could have hit me in the head. That would have injured me. An unintended consequence, but it would have still hurt. And instead of my golf cart, that could have been a spectator, his wife, his child. So sometimes, because life imitates golf, we need to be more careful and think about good course management. We need to think about unintended consequences. We need to think before we act out of frustration and anger. And as I leave you today, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank the leadership team of our 3 organizations, Joe Houston with the NCGA, Steve Schrader with Poppy Holding, and Adam Hike with our foundation, Youth on Course, for their leadership this year, trying to navigate a crazy world. And I'd like to thank our staff, our employees, the people who figured out how to work together, how to collaborate remotely, how to open golf courses and keep them open, how to conduct tournaments in a safe manner, and how to raise funds in a very difficult time. And finally, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Jean, who was there beside me all year long, constantly giving me good advice. So, play well, have fun, be safe. Thank you for your time.
Mike, I just want to say thank you for all your service to the NCGA. The NCGA is such an important part of me and my growth as an amateur and junior golfer, and I love some of all those tournaments, and they're some of my best memories growing up and playing. And I really enjoyed playing with you at the AT&T this year at Pebble Beach, and hope you keep making all those great putts in your retirement. And thanks again for everything you've done for the NCGA. You're the best.
Good afternoon to our NCGA members, staff, volunteers, friends, and extended family. My name is Bob Goldstein, and I am humbled and honored to be speaking to you today as the incoming president of the Northern California Golf Association. Like the 93 presidents of the association that have preceded me, I am thrilled to help guide our organization and its members over the next year to create a greater golf community for all. I am also very excited to continue working with a talented group of colleagues on the board of directors, and with Joe Houston and his management team, and with all of you who are part of this wonderful game as a player, volunteer, or industry professional. We all, in our own way, symbolize the appeal and enjoyment of a game that is hundreds of years old, that spans the globe, is constantly evolving, and brings together so many communities. I would like to take a moment to give special thanks to Mike Weeks for his outstanding service on the board, and most especially as the NCGA's president in the pandemic-ridden 2020. In particular, I would like to personally recognize Mike for his outstanding leadership during these difficult times. I would look to Mike, and indeed all of our past presidents, for guidance as I begin my presidency. I also need to thank my family and friends for their support as I embarked on this journey almost a decade ago. There were sacrifices made, missing family vacations, being away on weekends when I was off officiating golf tournaments, and missing buddy golf trips, just to name a few. Their understanding and encouragement made this all possible. Since many of you do not know me well, I thought I'd take this opportunity to share my background and the journey of my climb to this position, as it is a little bit different than most. And hopefully, it will inspire others to volunteer their time to this great organization as well. I grew up on the East Coast, playing golf from an early age on the local municipal golf courses, meeting wonderful and varied people along the way, as only the game of golf can do for a youngster. Some 25 years ago, my wife and I made the important decision to relocate to the Bay Area. And although our two children now call the East Coast home, I'd like to think that they still consider Northern California home. Some 8 years ago, I noticed on the NCGA website that applications for board positions were being accepted. As a lifelong golfer, and with a child who participated in many NCGA Junior Tour events, I decided to apply and help give back to the game that has given so much to me and my family. Now, what is different about my story is that I did not know anyone at the association. I did not know any directors or staff members or rules officials, and I had very little understanding of what the organization did beyond administering junior golf tournaments. You see, most people who apply for a board position have some connection to the association and some awareness of its operations. Nonetheless, I went through the application process, submitted letters of recommendations, and interviewed with the nominating committee, without knowing a single person in the room beyond the few who I had met during the process. I was fortunate enough to be asked to join the board, and I have not looked back since. And I believe it is a great testament to the association that they accepted a stranger with no golf administration experience onto the board. It is also a wonderful example of the open-mindedness I've experienced as part of our organization. And in an increasingly polarizing world, I believe the association's ability and desire to being receptive to a wide variety of ideas and points of view, and stepping outside of its comfort zone, will be critically important to helping us achieve success in today's world. This past year has been like no other. We have all been greatly impacted in many ways by the COVID pandemic. And while we all face challenges that were unthinkable less than a year ago, we believe that the game of golf has helped us, and is helping us, get through this trying time by providing a little sense of normalcy. In the grand scheme of things, golf is but just a game, but in our everyday lives, having the ability to participate in an activity that provides us with physical and mental release was, and is, truly invaluable. And if there is a silver lining in any of this, Perhaps it is the new players who have either discovered the game or returned to it after a long layoff. Clearly, COVID needed golf more than golf needed COVID. Since 1901, the NCGA has served the golfers of Northern California. As many of you know, the NCGA promotes and supports golf in the region as a way of helping golfers better enjoy the game. This includes providing services such as handicap management, course ratings, tournaments, and event oversight for all levels of golfers, and member communications regarding regional news and events. But beyond this, we also own and operate 2 outstanding golf courses that our members can enjoy and then host many of our major championships. We also support Youth on Course. Our foundation has not only provided tens of thousands of youth golfers with affordable access to the game, but it has also provided real-world help and experience through college scholarships, internships, and caddy positions. And most recently, the NCGA completed a unification with the Women's Golf Association of Northern California and the Pacific Women's Golf Association to better leverage efforts to support and promote women's golf. While COVID has prevented us from realizing the full potential of this integration thus far, we look forward to the times when all of the benefits of this union will be realized. In total, more than 170,000 members enjoy all that the association has to offer. And notwithstanding the uncertainties of this coming year, the NCGA remains committed to achieving our vision of ensuring that the game of golf remains vibrant, inclusive, and accessible to all. Towards this end, over the past year, the NCGA worked on a new strategic plan, which was recently adopted by the Board of Directors. It has 5 priorities, all intended to help golf grow and remain vibrant in Northern California. We will focus on attracting and retaining the highest quality staff and volunteers, to improving our outreach, our infrastructure, and how we interact with other key golf constituencies. Part of the driving force and a common thread throughout the plan is growing the game, in large part by increasing its inclusiveness and the overall diversity of those who play it. We believe strongly that golf should reflect the environment of the communities in which we work and live. We asked ourselves some hard questions, realizing one of the biggest challenges we face is how to expand the game beyond those who have historically played it. How do we bring more women into the game? We asked ourselves. How do we bring more historically underserved communities into the game? We asked. How do we bring more youth into the game? We also asked. I think most of us would agree that the face of this game needs to change if it is going to grow and thrive. But we also know that achieving these goals will be a continuous journey, with success being achieved along a continuum and not at a single point in time. We should always be asking ourselves, what's next? And as we think about our journey, we should be motivated by knowing that diversity will result in a stronger, more dynamic game. For when differences are valued and embraced, we can create a more positive and inclusive environment where people can achieve their goals and be their best. Doing this will not be easy, but all of you can lend a hand in helping us move forward. Please reach out to someone you know and introduce him or her to this great game. Introduce yourself and the sport to those who may look or think differently than you do. They can start slowly by just learning how to hit a golf ball or trying to snake in a winding 10-foot putt. And help develop our younger generation by ingraining in them the indispensable attributes the game teaches and fosters, such as integrity, honesty, and sportsmanship. All of this is not just a way to help our organization and game be better. It is also just the right thing to do. My responsibilities as president is to lead the board of directors in working together to do all we can to support the NCGA's management team and staff in pursuing and achieving our goals, both long-term and short-term. As you just heard today from many of my colleagues and industry leaders, our challenges and opportunities are wide-ranging. But most importantly, they are exciting. They are what drives everyone to do their best day in and day out and makes us determined to make the game better for all of our members. There is much work to do, and I am confident we are up to the task. And finally, I hope you are as inspired as I was by the earlier remarks and videos. And I want to congratulate all of the players and volunteers who are in special honors this year. It is people like you that keeps bringing us back to the course, sometimes for hours on end, in the cold, in the rain, in the fog. All of this is why the greatness of the game truly does bring out the best in all of us, and why the NCGA will never stop working to serve golf. It is a game for us all, and it is a game for a lifetime. Thank you very much.
The annual meeting of the Northern California Golf Association for 2020 is now adjourned. Thank you for watching.